Every Step Forward. A Kingdom Hearts fanfiction by Kessie-Louise. Entry 1. The true Organization 13 must be insane. Allowing 2 members of the original that were staging a coup to be part of the true darkness? Xehanort needs his head checked. Immediately. I'm only an auxiliary member at the moment, unlike Demix. Again, for some reason, I have duties around here that initially didn't involve it. I've never liked Xemnas anyway. No surprise, our others barely tolerated each other as well. But when he asked me to watch over this feral yet willful creature, I nearly punched him in front of the others. Quite frankly, I do not care if this is the fallen Keyblade hero Xehanort prioritized over. This beast will find its humanity again and rejoin the Guardians of Light. You can already tell by the way it reacts to certain members of the true organization. I'd complain to Xigbar about it more, as he seems to be the only one truly in charge here, but he thinks it's funny that I found a pet. Entry 2. Xehanort is too close to the tapestry to see what else is around him, to see the threads actually being weaved and those being cut off when change is made. He hides his excitement poorly. While he rejoices in the darkness that is yet to come, I am free to do whatever I choose with this creature, which means one likely forbidden thing, finding out how much of Sora still resides within the creature. Based on what Vexen has told me, Xion should be the perfect member to help test my theories. However, I'm afraid to employ her. Her true heart, her true self, is still resting in Sora. Too much contact with this creature and she may awaken the light inside her, possibly even the light inside the creature as well. Because of this, and for a few others, I cannot stay in the Badlands for long. The Guardians of Light are sure to be looking for this beast now. Xemnas and Ansem received my request and have agreed. Starting tonight, the beast and I will be traveling varying worlds. We will change our location every other day, perhaps less often if we're lucky, depending on where the rest of the Guardians are. Riku is the one I fear the most. Now an even riskier gambit to indulge in. Should I take this creature to worlds that Sora has touched? Entry 3. This creature is an anomaly, but I cannot deny that I am as well. As is well known by now, when heart and body are forced apart, they create a heartless and nobody as a result. My other had a very strong will. The heartless procured took on a very humanoid shape. I hear that it is also a beast within its own right. And I, the nobody, was able to do something unheard of. My physical appearance is significantly younger than the age of my other when heart and body separated. Vexen theorizes it has something to do with the inner child and reforming innocence or some nonsense like that. But the beast is something else entirely. Around the time Ansem was initially struck down, the hero of the Keyblade sacrificed himself for a friend. He became a Heartless. However, because said friend was a Princess of Light, he was able to return to his other body without needing to assemble both pieces of his torn being. This came with consequences. Consequences that Xehanort was able to exploit during the Mark of Mastery. Now I'm babysitting the product of what happens when you are once more brought back to a body of pure darkness. Did I mention how much I hate Xemnas? Entry 4. What better way to hide an animal than in a jungle? But of course, that stupid creature tries to go after the only human encampment in the area. As much as I'd like to keep this thing at arm's length, it still cannot disrupt the world order, of what little order remains at this point. It's hard to gauge how much humanity is in this beast. It's hard to gauge how much of a heartless it is, too. Just from the outburst earlier, it seems that it still wants to follow the light in others. Whether it is to devour or bathe in it is still unseen. Moreover, I think it's mad at me for not letting it interact with the residents in the camp. It tried to scratch at me while I held it at its ankle. It resisted enough that I found a bamboo stalk just so I could beat the creature over the head like an ill-behaved dog. And in some respects, I suppose it is. The action only made the beast more angered. Suffice to say, I now have a bite mark and the beast is under a heavy sleep spell. I can already hear Xigbar's laughter from here. Entry 5. While trying to distract the creature from bothering the camp, I overheard the name from one of the humans residing there, Jane Porter. It also confirmed something that I had begun to suspect. They had met Sora. They didn't mention him by name, but you could feel their connection. That little persistent light that keeps drawing others to him like a moth to flame. It is disgusting. My other thought herself too refined for friends. As a result, she was perpetually alone. She was a different kind of disgusting, but I digress. She and Sora would not have gone along because their very morals would have clashed. It could have been possible that he might change her mind, but over decades. Maybe at their respective deathbeds, or longer. That being said, I have a new theory. This thing does not want light, it wants connection. Makes sense, no? Sora's heart has connected with many. It has stored at least 2 in its lifetime. Ergo, it should not be a surprise that this thing desires what Sora had. This means I have to take extra care with the creature. I will need to have it confined through barrier magic when possible. Thankfully, we'll be leaving this world soon. In the meantime, I should find ways to keep this thing mad at me. Everyone knows that you can't form a connection when rage is your default ally. Entry 6. It stares at me a lot. I wonder if it is out of contempt or curiosity. I could care less. Upon my last evaluation of how this creature behaves, I have started to give it more distance. I am becoming more rude to it. So far, it responds well to the neglect and cruel words. Barrier magic is also helpful. This creature heads for a certain direction. Immediate head bash into invisible magics. It's quite amusing. I have yet to hear it be vocal in any sense of the word. No grunts or whines, just that beady little stare. This makes it harder to discern how much of a heartless it is. Many are unable to be vocal. A few are able to voice displeasure or hurt. The even rarer few, the ones who take on the more obvious human shape, can speak in full sentences. If I were to give this creature a rating between Ansem and Shadow on how it behaves, I would say undefined. Entry 7. Imagine being forced to reside in a body steeped in darkness, then being further forced to take on a body completely different than your original. It would be disorienting, I wager. Sometimes the need to keep world order can work to your advantage. The beast has taken on the same form the Keyblade bearer did on his last visit, a young lion. I have taken the form of a Palameteus bellicosus, a martial eagle. Having plumage makes me feel quite vain. A powerful bird of prey is exactly the type of creature I described my other as well. The lion form will also help suit our needs for the beast as well. Disassociation of what is known and what is different will help in drawing out its inner rage. Because their forms have radically changed in this world, it may make do to stay here for a bit longer. With abilities of flight, it would be far easier to terrorize the beast into rage as well. The classic "you can't touch me" technique. On top of this, the beast will get used to walking on all fours. It will become faster when we shift back into our natural bodies. All this will allow the beast to further disassociate from its original designation as Sora. I just had the revelation that I can actually preen my feathers. How droll. The world order can be such a novelty under the right circumstances. This will be an interesting world indeed. Entry 8. I underestimated how hard it would be to fight while in avian form. Do not mishear me. It can be done, just in a way that could take some getting used to. The most obvious factor that I had initially overlooked, the lack of arms and fingers, I do have the option of attacking with certain sprites, a leftover from my other and what was tied with her heart, but it is far more efficient to channel magic through a conduit. My conduit of choice is not quite viable in this form. Controlling the sprites is one of the better teasers for the beast, if I'm going to be frank. Not only am I airborne at the time, but so are they. The terps, the green sprites, are particularly known for their bite. The frenzy they can create is quite spectacular. Anytime the beast gets too unruly, the terps are readily available to nip it in the bud. If it resists, the ultimate torture in merely being trapped under a large amount of sprites. Tiny stings, little bites with no relief. I'm sure it hurts. I'm sure it will bring out the beast's rage much easier. But I still need some mode of caution. Blind rage will hinder the needs for the beast and aid them. We need something controlled, something that it still wants to protect. Is it possible to give the beast a sense of dependency on the organization without it forming any real connection to its members? I'd ex Vexen, but I smell a rat. Entry 9. We met some of the denizens of this world today, a lioness named Zira and her pride. She had apparently been studying us for a while. The darkness swarming the creature attracted the darkness that lies within her heart. Of course, the lioness wouldn't have known that, but I'm far more aware of such matters. Zira then suggested that we become a part of her pride. I respectfully declined the offer. Zira's heart seeks revenge. She believes herself to be playing chess against an unwilling player. As much as I would love to test the beast's abilities, this would severely unbalance the world order. Whatever beef this lioness has with the main pride of this savannah, it is of no concern of ours. My mission is to strengthen the darkness and rage in the creature, not help facilitate the upheaval of Pride Rock. Naturally, the darkness in Zira's heart failed to make her see my point of view. She didn't say anything verbally, but even my other could read that sour glare with pinpoint accuracy. We will be seeing this lioness in her pride again. This may complicate things. World order be damned. This stupid creature needs to be broken in before Xehanort gets bored with his current pawns. Entry 10. Training is going rather smoothly now. We're still being watched by the members of Zira's pride, but they're far enough away that a single accident in their direction will make them back off for a few hours. They're seeing firsthand how ruthless I or the creature could be. I'm fairly certain that it is still a breach of the world order. The lions are witnessing magic where I'm sure none can channel. And without conduits or bodies to properly use them, the only ones who could in this world would likely be monkeys or baboons, assuming the savannah has any. As for the beast itself, I am starting to see an increase in its strength. We are limited in what the creature can attack. Suffice to say, we have plenty of diced fruits to make an excellent fruit salad. Vertical leaping is a part of this. When we first arrived here, the beast could barely make it over one of the elephant skulls in the graveyard. Now it can nearly scale a particular cliff in 2 motions. Its endurance has seen an increase as well. The Terps have to really cover the beast in order to make it heal. If it manages to break through, many attempts are diminished with gravity magic. Something that causes a stun effect, like balloon magic, can normally suffice as well. I'm almost impressed, enough to call back to Xemnas to tell him of the progress, but the creature is still seeking light. Part of why its endurance is so impressive is because of its resistance to stay away from Pride Rock. The Terps can be overwhelming, but they cannot perform crowd control for too long. I keep driving the beast further into this world's shadows, and it struggles back to the light bit by bit. Not enough for it to make actual progress, of course. It is a problem that needs to be nipped before telling the Zea Trinity anything.